3 years into its invasion of Ukraine, Russia faces an unprecedented economic crisis. What started as a special military operation has transformed into an economic nightmare that's reshaping the world's largest country. The Kremlin's military ambitions have collided with economic reality, creating a perfect storm of fiscal chaos, workforce collapse, and industrial decline. To understand how Russia reached this breaking point, we need to examine the cascade of decisions and consequences that led to what economists now call the Great Russian Depression. Let's dive into the numbers that tell this story. Russia gambled everything on military might, pouring an astronomical $167 billion into defense spending in 2024 alone. That's 6.3% of their entire GDP, nearly double what the United States spends on defense. To put this in perspective, imagine taking $6 out of every $100 in your country's economy and spending it solely on military operations. This massive military spending initially created what economists called military Keynesianism, using war production to artificially boost the economy. Defense factories worked around the clock, employment appeared stable, and the Kremlin proudly declared victory over Western sanctions. State media celebrated economic resilience while government officials promised a new era of self-sufficiency. But beneath this carefully constructed facade, the foundation was cracking. The true cost of war goes beyond rubles and dollars. Russia's military casualties have exceeded 1 million, creating a devastating workforce crisis that's paralyzed the economy. Essential industries can't find workers because they're either fighting in Ukraine, have fled the country, or fallen in battle. High-tech sectors are particularly hard hit. Programming offices sit empty, engineering firms struggle to complete projects, and even basic manufacturing faces critical staff shortages. This brain drain isn't just about numbers, it's about losing the most productive segment of the workforce. Young, educated professionals, the engine of any modern economy, are leaving in droves. Those who remain often lack the skills to maintain Russia's increasingly isolated technological infrastructure. Companies that once competed globally now struggle to maintain basic operations. Western sanctions have finally achieved their intended impact, striking at the heart of Russia's economic power, its energy empire. European customers, once dependent on Russian oil and gas, have diversified their suppliers and accelerated renewable energy adoption. Even China and India's discounted purchases can't compensate for the loss of premium European markets. The numbers are staggering. Oil revenues have plummeted by 60%, tech imports have collapsed by 70%, and foreign investment has virtually disappeared. Russia's position as an energy superpower is eroding daily, with former customers building permanent alternatives to Russian supplies. This isn't a temporary setback. It's a structural transformation of global energy markets that leaves Russia increasingly isolated. Inside Russia, a fierce battle rages between economic reality and military necessity. The central bank warns of economic collapse while the government demands more war funding. Inflation has spiraled to 7.8% and continues climbing, eroding savings and purchasing power. Basic goods cost more each week, and the ruble's value keeps falling. Despite aggressive interest rate hikes, this policy conflict has paralyzed economic decision-making. The central bank tries to fight inflation with higher interest rates, but the government undermines these efforts by printing money to fund the war. It's created a dangerous economic deadlock. Any measure to help one problem inevitably worsens another. Meanwhile, ordinary Russians watch their economic security evaporate. Looking ahead, Putin faces 3 equally unpalatable options. Continue the war by gutting pensions and social services. Accept defeat and face a $1 trillion reconstruction bill. Maintain the current path and watch the economy disintegrate. None of these choices offers hope for recovery. The invasion meant to restore Russian power has instead triggered its economic collapse. As we enter the second half of 2025, Russia's economy isn't just struggling, it's fundamentally transforming, and not for the better. This isn't just an economic story. It's a cautionary tale about how military ambition can destroy decades of economic progress. As Russia's economy continues its decline, the real victims are ordinary citizens watching their future prosperity vanish. In the end, Putin's war may achieve the opposite of its intended goals. Instead of restoring Russian power, it's ensuring generations of economic hardship.